What's up, everybody? It's Dr. AVIS FOLEY, and welcome to episode 1 of So Inspired. I am so inspired to bring this show to you all. It's something that I've been working on for quite some time. Now is the time, and without further ado, let me introduce my first guest, Mr. Rapheal Gunn. Give it up, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Rapheal Gunn, you know, Mr. Hard Worker, Mr. Steal Your Girl, Mr. whatever you want to call me.
Did you all hear that, ladies? He said, Mr. Steal Your Girl. So, fellas, if you ain't treating her right, they gonna take your woman. So, get it together.
Absolutely, absolutely. How you doing tonight?
I am fine. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show.
Absolutely.
So, tell us, who is Rapheal Gunn? Talk to us about your entrepreneurial spirit.
Absolutely. So a little bit about Rapheal Gunn. So I'm an actor. If you guys don't know, I'm a professional actor. I've been doing this for going on 4 to 5 years now. I'm a signed model to DNK Sioux City.
Y'all see them socks? Show them the socks, Ralph.
Come on now, DNK Sioux City.
Okay, okay.
$9.99.
Okay.
For those of you who want to go there, you can say my name and you get a 20% discount. That's at Memorial Drive location. We have 4 different locations that we just opened up as well. You guys can go on the website to see that. A little bit about what else I do. I'm a personal trainer as well. I've been owning my own business doing that for going on 4 years now. I'm a mentor, I'm a photographer, I'm a casting director, you know, I do security work, so I do a little bit of everything.
Ralph is getting that paper. He gets the money. Y'all get into the money.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, talk to us about your life pre-COVID. So, you know, we're living in this crazy time. I never thought we would have to actually go outside and enter places with a mask on. And honestly, it's still kind of weird for me. So, what were you doing pre-COVID, and how has COVID affected your acting?
Yeah, COVID definitely affected me a lot. It affected me in a way to the point where different projects that I was working on, we was forced to have to stop, you know, due to certain actors that was catching it, due to the film crew, people that was catching it. And it was definitely devastating, but honestly it was something that's needed. Because on the flip side, I was able to spend more time with my family, spend more time with my son, and my son is very important in my life to me, and that was very good as far as just wanting to just spend time with my family. So it was a good thing and it was a bad thing at the same time.
Right, and you know, rest in peace to all of those that
definitely,
you know, are no longer with us because of COVID. We are deeply praying for your families and different things like that. And so for me, COVID has taught me, you all, to go after it, to go forward. So let me talk to you all briefly about how So Inspired came about. So when I was younger, my sister and I used to act like we had a radio station, and I would always be the radio host. You all can ask her if you want; she can attest to it. And so she always used to tell me how good I was at it, and so it kind of came natural. And so it wasn't something that I was ready to jump on, but because of COVID, I'm like, I can't sit on my gifts. So maybe this is a gift that God wants me to use for the world to see. And so it's hard being inspired during this time. And so I just want to shed light on people that are doing great things, and Ralph inspires me. And so it is what it is.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No
I really
problem.
do.
So tell us about your most difficult role. Talk to us about your insecurities surrounding that role.
Okay, so my most difficult role, I would definitely say, okay, so I had certain roles where it was a taller person that had to be used for that, right? So, you know, you cannot, one thing I can say, you cannot be insecure in this game, you cannot be insecure in this industry. You have to be relentless whatever you do, no matter if you was to get this role or you don't. You have to understand that the next role that you can get can double the trouble for the role that you didn't get.
Nice.
So I always tell people to don't get upset if you don't get something. Just elevate your craft, you know, elevate as far as what you do. If you only do one thing, try to do 2 more different things, you know, make yourself more useful, if that makes sense. So never get upset about any role that you are not getting, or even in life, if you don't get a certain job in life, you know, you cannot be upset at the world. You just have to understand that one door closes because the second door was meant for you, and that door that was shut for you, it was not for you, if that makes sense. It was not. Yeah, so
it would have opened if it was for you.
Absolutely.
And so when we get doors slammed in our face, I think sometimes we just automatically think that God doesn't want us to do that. And that necessarily may not have been what was for us, but the role that God God has for you, you're going to definitely get that role. So,
Absolutely.
do you remember your first audition? Can you take us back there?
That's funny because my first audition was with you.
No!
Yeah, my first audition.
And so let me talk to you all about this movie because I didn't know that.
Right.
So, my new book, Inevitable, go
Right.
get it.
Absolutely.
Go get it. Don't book. Now, I'm not just saying that, but this
Not
book
at all.
inspires me.
Absolutely.
This book inspires me. But Ralph played the character Trey, who is a favorite of all the ladies. When I talk to them about who did they love the most, they always mention Trey. And I just remember Ralph being on the set and being so humble and just willing to take criticism. And, you know, that's attractive. That's how you have to be. That's how you get to the next level. And that's how God will ultimately bless you. So what was your experience? Because that was my experience. But what was your experience?
Well, my experience was, number one, when I first walked into the door, when I first met everybody, I seen you as a director, and I was like, man, the director is fine. Like, she beautiful, you know. That was the first thing I noticed. So, you know, I went in there. You guys told me to come in. It was time to go ahead and do my part. I did my part, and I did it very well. Now, I was a little nervous, you know. I was a little intimidated because it was my first role, my first real role at that, and you gave me an opportunity for that. So when I went in, I did my part, and it went well. Then you guys partnered me up with somebody who I was going to be partnered with, and that went great from there. And then, you know, from the rest was history.
It was history, you all. And there was so much chemistry on set.
Absolutely.
And for me, that was kind of like my first directorial debut. And so I didn't even necessarily know if I knew what I was doing, but Ralph was really helpful, and you know the things that we struggled with, he was able to come in and talk to us about different things, even though it was his first audition. And so that just attests to how great of a person he is, and how hard he works, and how relentless he is in the things that he does.
Absolutely.
And so that was my directorial debut, but you're getting into directing now. So tell us about what you're doing with Black Lives Matter.
Right, so a little bit about that. I've been behind the scenes, been more involved in the communities, just really want to be more so of a mentor to our young youth, not only just for African Americans, but those are predominantly who I'm targeting right now, because there's a lot of issues that's surrounded around that. It's a lot of stigmatized as far as people thinking that every black person is this, every black person is that.
And we're not.
And we're not. And I just want to share that not everybody is doing some certain things, like when they had the looters and stuff. You had real protesters like myself who wasn't doing stuff like that, who was out there for a cause, and I just want to shed light on that, just to show people that not everybody's out there for the wrong intentions, you know. And bottom line is we just want justice for George Floyd, and we want justice for Breonna Taylor. And speaking on that, to shed more light on that, due to the indictment that happened today with only one officer, you know, that's going to set up an uprise, you know. But what we have to do as a community, we have to start voting. That's what we have to do. We have to get more involved. We have to stop pointing a finger, and we have to just go out here and just work this out together, because that's what it's about. We're not going to get nowhere being alone. We're not going to get nowhere pointing a finger, but we can get somewhere by uniting together, black and white. I don't care what color you are. We all should be uniting right now, because right now the odds are against us all. So, and that's what I have to say about that.
Nice. So, as a black father who has a black son, are you fearful?
I would definitely say that I'm not fearful, but I would definitely say I'm more so concerned. I'm concerned about my son's future, and I'm concerned on the limitations that he's going to have in the future. You know, everything I do is for him, and I know a lot of parents can relate to that. Everything that we do is for our kids. But so far in what I have been seeing and what I have been encountering with society and stuff like that, we have to be more involved in our kids, like, because they need us. It's our kids' future is what is going to be actually, you know, leaning on towards when we're not here, and when we are demised and stuff like that. So we just have to be more involved in our kids' life. We cannot be fearful. We have to stand up for what we believe in. You know, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And that quote is very real. You know, we have to get more involved. You know, this is the time. You know, it never been a more time than ever than now. And
so being an educator, you know, I found myself, I don't even know if this is a word or a phrase, but overly praying for our black males, because I'm not sure if they truly understand the state that we're residing in today. And so it's just important that we continue to educate each other, as Ralph said, continue to uplift each other, to come together, because apart we're nothing, together we're everything. We all know that teamwork makes the dream work. So tell us more about your son and this lineage that that you're creating for him?
Absolutely, man. My son, his name is Isaiah, number one, Isaiah Rapheal Gunn. He's 4 years old. He will be 5 January 5th. And my son is just very, very energetic. You know, he's very independent as well. He has me, and he has a little bit of his mother in him, and that's what I love about it. With me being with her, and we just make sure we co-parent the best way we can. And yeah, my son is just an awesome vibe, man. Awesome. It's awesome to have another person that's like me. You know, this is my twin. This is like my best friend. You know, you have people that pray for a best friend. Well, I pray for him, and this is my best friend.
Nice. That is so sweet. That is so sweet. So, are you going to, not force, but are you going to introduce him to acting?
Now, a little bit about that. Now, I definitely would like to introduce him to acting. It's nothing that I will force him. Anything that he will want to do is definitely something that I will stand behind him and support him in every way that I can.
Right.
So I would definitely introduce him to acting, just different things that he may want to do, and hopefully he may want to take that path.
You know, he gonna follow his dad.
Right, absolutely.
So, talk to us about you yourself and when you knew that you wanted to be an actor. Like, how did that come about? Was it something you knew from a child? Did you learn that later on? How did that come about?
Absolutely. So a little bit about that. So as we all know, we always mimic different characters as we a kid. No matter if it was a cartoon, no matter if it was a different show, we always mimic. So I would always say I always wanted to act, but I never pursued it. So when it came to about where I wanted to actually pursue acting, that was going on, like I say, 4 to 5 years ago. And I was a truck driver. I was a truck driver working for TNT Parts. And some of this came about me, man, and I was just wanting to change my life. I wanted to do something that was more challenging and different. I wanted to do something that would get me out of my comfort zone, right? So I prayed the night before, and I asked God, I was like, God, I want to just do something different. And I don't know what came about that landed on acting, but something landed about it. I had a casting call, and my first opportunity was Star. You know, I know a lot of you guys know about Star before it was canceled.
Shout out to Star.
Shout out to Star. Definitely a TV show that I love, and like I said, it gave me my first opportunity. But yeah, it was just so great and so real. The first day of me being on set, just meeting Queen Latifah, just meeting
Queen, if you out there,
right?
I mean, I know you know Ralph, but you don't know me. And I need you to know me. So
absolutely.
Okay.
And man, hit her up. Absolutely. So it was just a fun vibe, and I just had a great time. That next week, I actually ended up quitting my job, and that's another thing I want to talk about, is being relentless. Listen, time on earth is limited. You do not know when your last breath is going to be, and you do not know when your last day is going to be. So by me saying that, it's by me saying this. You need to go out here and be relentless in whatever you want to do. Just like AVIS is going out here and starting her own.
And hold up. I know right now I don't have the fancy set.
Right.
But the set is super dope anyway. And I'm going for it. Like Raph was saying, that's what you just have to do.
Right.
That's why you're pushing.
Absolutely. And you have to be relentless, and that's one thing that I commend you on doing. Depending on who finances and how much finances you have, it's about relentlessness. Going back to Tyler Perry's story, you know, we all know his story. And
shout out to Tyler Perry on the Emmy win. Like, what's up? What's up?
Forbes list, $1 billion. Come on, billionaire. Like that's an inspiration to me. That's something that I look up to. That was a man that was sleeping in his car, and now done turned into a whole empire of a company. So I definitely want to tell people to go out here and do the things that you want to do, because you're not promised for tomorrow.
Right, definitely. And he talked about being uncomfortable, and you know when you're uncomfortable, that just means that you're growing, and that is where you want to be. And so when I look at Ralph and I look how hard he grinds for his son, I become proud of him, because and there's nothing wrong with this, you know, you putting your kids first before your dreams and things like that, but you all can't forget about what it is that you really want to do as well. And so Ralph is a prime example of how you can get both done. You can be a great father and pursue your dreams at the same time. And so if that's you, and what his story is speaking to you, that means it's time for you to get up, get out.
Right. It starts with you. It starts with you. You know, so go out here and make it happen. Can't nobody stop you but you.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, from one actor to another, tell us how you felt. Rest in peace about Chadwick Boseman. How did that affect you?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was devastating. It was very devastating. It was very out of nowhere, you know, to see what Chad had accomplished through his time of being in the entertainment industry. It was very unfortunate. It was very sad, and it's like it's another part of history that's been taken away from us. You know, with him leading the Black Panther, as far as he was the first black, you know, for Black Panther